Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. It is Tuesday, the 14th of October. I'm here with your boy, Johnny, and I am Sean Butler, and we are about to bring to you the latest in all of the news around the footballing world, of which today there are, of course, loads of transfer news, views, and clues. There's a couple of big stories out regarding Manchester City's 115 charges. Football finance expert Stefan Borson is predicting that the news might even drop as soon as this week. The ramifications, quote unquote, could be nuclear. We've also got a little bit of interesting news. I'm not sure how much we want to talk about this, but ex-Premier League ref David Coote, well, he pleads guilty to some pretty barbaric behaviour. And we also have international roundup and loads of other stories. Before we get into it, guys, please do smash the like button for us like you always do. We really appreciate you hitting the like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment or two. Also, guys, if you are interested in walking the wife and listening to our stuff via podcast format, then these videos are uploaded to all of your podcast platforms. So please search for Football Inc. or go into the description and find our links and give us a 5-star rating and a little follow over there. Johnny, the biggest story, though, possibly, as we walk back into Premier League football, we've got one more round of fixtures tonight and then we're done. Everyone's back. But you know what, mate? I titled this video, Are Liverpool's Injury Crises Mounting Up? We've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Is it all coming home to roost? And have Arsenal got a pathway through to the title if they can take advantage over the next 6 to 8 weeks? Because Gravenberch has pulled his hammy, or apparently he's got a sore hammy. But it could just be 4D chess from Arnie Slot. Johnny, how are you, mate? And take us away with the Arsenal-Liverpool story.
I'm absolutely gutted because, I mean, yeah, I was right, what I said, but I don't get any pleasure out of it. In fact, I'm pretty angry about it because I said, you know, if they don't secure Mark Gahey or said another, or yes, they signed Lyon, I said that they would be vulnerable to an injury because they couldn't go through a season with Konate, who's got his head in Madrid, and Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. So what happens? They get Lyon, and don't worry, we got Lyon. We didn't get Mark Gahey, but all will be okay. Lyon's done his ACL. Mark Gahey didn't turn up. Now Konate's pulled out of the French squad. And now we see Gravenberch with a supposed hamstring. Unfortunately for me, it's opened the pathway, a direct pathway to Arsenal winning the title. I think they really got to hang in there somehow between now and January to have a chance. I think it's going to be a tough ask. You know, that result, the 3 losses on the trot, and now coming into this huge game against Manchester United on the weekend, they cannot afford to make it 4 losses, you know, in a row, getting into Amarin territory. But it's their own making. You know, I just can't quite understand how you can spend 400+ million and forget about, you know, probably the most important part of your team, the defence. And Alisson's also a major doubt. He's injured. Endo, who is
he's definitely out. Endo's a massive concern. Konate's definitely out for apparently for the weekend.
Endo is your last chance saloon centre back with Robertson. You know, the 2 of them have played there in an emergency. So yeah, it's a major worry. It's a major worry for Liverpool. And if I was Arsenal right now, and I was an Arsenal fan, or I was Mikel Arteta, I'd be rubbing my hands with glee right now because Arsenal got a nice run of fixtures. They've had probably the toughest start in the Premier League for quite a considerable amount of time, and they've come through it top of the table. Now they come to the easy fixtures, and Liverpool are riding into a tough set of fixtures. And you know, who expected them to lose to Olympiacos or to the games that they've lost in the last couple of weeks? So, yeah, big question marks over their purchasing. That's all you can really say. I can't see anyone else really at this stage Chelsea, they've got 6 injuries at centre back, but they're still managing to grind out results. And Manchester City were going really well, but losing Rodri again to another hamstring injury, is that going to set them back?
Massively.
At the moment,
it always has, Johnny. It always has, right?
Yeah, the stars are aligning. The stars are aligning very much for Arsenal.
But Arsenal aren't without their own injury crisis. They've got enough depth.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of depth, right? Well, Madueke's out. Jesus obviously out for a long time. Odegaard's out. And they've got 1 or 2 others that are on the sort of cusp of getting back. Hincapi as well, right? But let's stick with Liverpool for a minute. They really are down to bare bones at the moment, aren't they, mate? Like when you... Oh, sorry, someone's hoovering. 1 second, Johnny. Just take over for 1 second.
Yeah, I hate it when people come out with the old Hoover. Not what you want. Listen, Liverpool.
Right, so I'm back. So Johnny, so at the moment, the predicted lineup, if Gravenberch is out, and Gravenberch he's not. I don't even consider him to be an out-and-out DM anyway. He's more of but he's been shoehorned onto the right back spot in the past few weeks. He's been playing in the DM. The argument has always been Liverpool are too top heavy. If Konate is out injured, and Endo is also a risk, if Gravenberch is really struggling, then how does that sort of figure itself out? Does that mean that the double pivot for Liverpool would be McAllister, who hasn't even been that great this season, let's be entirely honest, with Connor Bradley? Are you then is Frimpong back? I think Frimpong's back now, right?
Well, so Frimpong's been back. The thing is, he's not really a defender. He's more of a winger, the way he plays.
No, I mean, to play off the right-hand side, right? So he'll play the right back, And then on the left back, you have Kirkes, and then you have Joe Gomez and you'll have Virgil van Disney. But if there's any other injury, like I don't know what their bench is going to look like with defensive options on the weekend.
Well, I think I'm looking at their team now. So I'm looking at, and when we're looking at Gravenbach's backup is Endo. So that's both of them out on the right-hand side of midfield, defensive midfield. And on the other side, you've got Curtis Jones and Alexis McAllister.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, I said Connor Bradley. I meant Curtis Jones. Sorry, that's what.
Yeah, Curtis Jones. And then when you look at the centre back position, there's no right-sided centre back. The right-sided centre backs are Konate and Lyon, and they didn't sign Mark Gahey. So that would mean Virgil van Dijk coming in at the left-hand side. And I don't know whether Joe Gomez would play on the right.
I probably imagine they're not shift Van Dijk onto the right and put Joe Gomez on the left.
They might do, or will they put Frimpong on the right and bring across Connor Bradley to defend? Or, well, because the trouble is, you see, Andy Robinson, the left-hand side isn't their problem because they got Robinson, they got Kirkes. Robinson can play as centre-back. He has done in the friendlies.
Against Manchester United, like, form goes out of the window, and this is the problem. I wouldn't care so much, right? But Arsenal have got Fulham away, and they're going to win that game.
Yeah,
right. They're going to win that game. Arsenal have got 2 teams. They've got a lot. They've got a few injuries themselves, but they've got enough depth now. They've got more depth than the Mariana Trench in the Atlantic, or Trench or whatever it's called. And but Liverpool against United, it's one of those fixtures where it's the North London derby of the North, right? It's like to a degree, form goes out of the window. Manchester United would love to be able to sucker punch Liverpool, and it would buy Amorim a lot more time. I'm sure he's more motivated for this one than anything else. And if Gravenberch really is injured, now there is of course this people are speculating that it's 4D chess, right? It's just he was deliberately taken off, and the narrative put out by the Dutch manager was that it's he felt something. He's got a sore hamstring. It doesn't feel good or something. But other people are saying no, Gravenberch is fine. If Gravenberch is okay, then I guess it's back to sort of where we were. But if he is injured, mate, if it's a minor tear, he could be out for 2-3 weeks. It's not just about the defensive line, Johnny. It's about where does the holding player? Who's going to be
the DMs? It's the DMs. You've got both right-sided DMs, Endo and Gravenberch on the right-hand side of defence, both out, right? So that would mean either McAllister or Curtis Jones, shifting over, unless you pushed Frimpong into that right-hand side. But he's not really a defensive midfielder. He plays more like a winger. Conor Bradley I like, but he can be very rash. The left-hand side, he's fine. They've got Andy Robinson, Kirkes, Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, McAllister, Curtis Jones, and up front they've got Cody Gakpo and they've got Rio, the kid. So the left-hand side isn't the problem. The problem is as I say, on that right-hand side. And I would have thought that Amorim would look to exploit that. The thing is, though, is Man United's defence up to tackling Liverpool's attack? That's the question.
But I think you just pin them back. If you're Manchester United, you go out. If I'm thinking outside the box here, your defence is protected by just making sure that you can always pivot fast, right? You've got fast players. You've got Cunha. You've got Mbumo. You've got Sesko, even though he's been a terrible signing so far, as I suggested he might be for that price point. But you have options up there where if you win the ball back in scrappy efforts, scrappy duels, just pump it long, and you can sort of nullify to a degree Liverpool's 12th man by just sitting in and then just going on the retreat. And like I said, when you have people like Frimpong, who's going to be not shoehorned into right back, but he's the guy who wants to get forward.
Well, we've got
the options that Liverpool have got, and if they do get one more injury to that back line, mate, they are really shoehorning players out of position to try and cover their gaps. It's a problem for Liverpool, right?
I mean, yeah. Listen, look, I think Patrick Dorgu will be giving them trouble down that side as well, as well down that side. I think Liverpool are going to listen. It's going to be a very good game. That's what I think. But Liverpool, just right now, it's all of their own making. Arsenal went about depth, not just signing big players. That they've been acquiring players. Liverpool didn't do any business, and then suddenly they've done a ton of business and trying to fit them all in. We've all seen that Florian Wirtz still hasn't quite done it. And, Arsenal have got some very favourable fixtures coming up. So we shall see. Spurs have got a tough set of fixtures incoming.
As it stands, Johnny.
Yeah.
Manchester City, who have City got on the weekend? Man City have got... let's have a look.
Can't remember the fixtures now. Let's have a look.
City have got... We'll be doing Everton at home, right? So if Manchester City beat Everton at home, then they will be, potentially going second if Liverpool were to lose against Manchester United.
Yeah.
If Tottenham beat Villa, they could go second ahead of Liverpool. I'm not sure who Bournemouth have got. Let's have a look, see.
Bournemouth have got Palace away.
Yeah, it's a difficult place for that fixture.
Yeah.
But Arsenal could end up this weekend. They could end up 4 points ahead, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that with Arsenal's run of fixtures, either Liverpool or Manchester City have to keep winning. They can't let them get. I know what we talk about, Arsenal choking. That's what they've done historically, choke year after year. But I just think the depth is way too strong this time to stop with the United agenda. I know who that is.
No, that was Spurs King from yesterday. Someone else was saying we had a United agenda, didn't they?
Yeah. We're big enough.
They can get the 3 points at Anfield for the first time in years, and what a result that would be if that was to happen.
Yeah, listen, I can see it. I can see, listen, an Amorim coming out with some choice comment that we're all going to be laughing at for a few days. That's the great thing about Amorim. Always gives us great ammunition. Onslaught doesn't say a lot. It's a problem for me. Like, I've got a Tottenham channel, Johnny, and usually this time of the year you've got like enough ammunition, even outside of the actual Premier League season when it's international break. Ange Postecoglou says a thing or two that you can spend a couple of hours dissecting, whereas Tommy the Tank doesn't say too much that's too controversial, says what you all think anyway,
And so, there's
You're
something
nodding.
in the Tottenham world right now. It's driving me up the wall.
If we were nodding with him, it's funny enough. I was just sat by the pool earlier today, right? And guys come up to me, he goes, "Hello, mate." He says, "Where are you from?" I said, "From London." He said, "You like the football?" And I said, "Yeah, I love the football." I said, "Who do you support?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I support Chelsea." I said, "Oh, no." He said, "You support?"
Is he Scottish?
Yes, Scottish. I said, I support Spurs." And he says to me, "You should be bloody grateful, mate." Right. And he starts going on about how ungrateful I haven't even spoken to him. He's going to me about how ungrateful I am about Ange. About Ange
Must have
17th.
seen your channel, mate. Must have seen us.
Ange 17th Postecoglou, right?
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, this isn't worth going. I said, "Have you followed him since he's gone to Forest?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, Well, listen, look, with all channels. I mean, if you look at Wolfie at Nottingham Forest, his channels exploded. Not that he didn't have a good channel before, but the fact that they've sacked Nuno, Marinakis. I mean, it's been a dream. Morgan Gibbs White held hostage. Yes, Mr. Marinakis. We had that one. Then we had Nuno getting the sack, being told, telling us that he's leaving. Marinakis throwing his toys out, sacking Nuno, and then bringing in Ange Postecoglou. And now we're hearing, this bullshit. I can't believe Sean Dyche is in the running. I believe that maybe Ange might be under a bit of threat, even at this early stage, but I can't see Sean Dyche being the answer to his dreams.
Yeah.
So we shall wait and see. But misery loves football. Fans seem to be the happiest when they're miserable on YouTube.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. We were discussing this last night. Like, as a Tottenham fan, I'm never someone that's really sort of played into the notion of like misery loves company, but it's certainly an angle that I might have to dip my toe into if I want to continue to grow the channel, mate. Because it's madness, mate. When Tottenham are doing well and there's not that much negativity out there, no one seems to give a shit. It's only when we lose a game, when things go a little bit awry or whatever, then all the fans dial in to hear your takes and stuff. So, but at the moment, look, Tottenham's sitting fourth, and is it fourth or third?
Who, Spurs?
We're third, aren't we? We're third, yeah. And plenty of reasons to be positive. But look, there's not a lot in the Spurs news today. We'll come to Spurs a little bit later on, mate. Let's move on to this story. If you want to, mate, about Manchester City. So Stefan Borsten's come out and said that there's the 115 charges verdict could be known as soon as this week. He's not saying it will happen. It's saying it might happen. It's basically saying it's the reason why it's taken so long is because of the amount of data to go through. They want to get it right, etc. Another geezer who I don't know, someone called Winnie, ex-footballer in Scotland.
Winnie Mandela. That's the only Winnie.
David Winnie, Scottish footballer David Winnie, who's now a lawyer, sports lawyer for London-based firm Gilson Gray. He's basically saying that the volume of charges, etc., taking the reason why it's taken so long, but that essentially that Manchester City, the outcome could be nuclear, and it will be nuclear either way. And the narrative, I won't bore you with the story, but the narrative that they're going with is, that there'll be legal ramifications for either Manchester City or the Premier League from certain clubs, pending the outcome. And I keep talking about Liverpool, like Liverpool are a special breed that deserves more sensitivity or more sympathy. Should City have been, guilty of breaching charges, because they finished second in a number of competitions to Manchester City during that particular period, right? And my argument, I just put out a long video on this on Sean Butler TV, guys. So if you're interested, go and check it out. But my argument, Johnny, is that there's no you can't sit there and how do I say this? For me, I almost feel like the verdict will consider this reality and therefore are more likely to lean sympathetic to Manchester City, not necessarily because they're innocent, but because the ramifications of their guilt will have absolutely no end. You can't just say the only victims of the people that won by cheating are the team that finished second, because it's a whole new timeline of reality. The teams that got relegated in those years, the teams that finished in the Europa League but would have maybe finished in the Champions League, because every player that City, and the same goes for Chelsea, by the way, with their 74 charges, every player that they signed would have gone somewhere else. And then therefore the players that those teams that might have signed them signed would have gone somewhere else. And so you have this butterfly effect of an infinite amount of new possibilities that could have easily ended up with teams that finished 20th finishing 10th in some hypothetical, or a team that finished 7th qualified for the conference finishing in the top 4. And the outcomes of City's guilt could see a snowball effect of everybody in football suing Manchester City for all sorts of lost earnings. And because that outcome is so unknown but so potentially mammoth, that will surely be in the zeitgeist, in the thought processes of the 3 independent adjudicators. And so it might just be easier for football if City get away with it.
Well, I think that has ramifications as well, because then you're going to have Forest, Everton, and all the people that have lost points for lesser offences, right, who have been punished. So they will be going after the Premier League, looking for compensation and a case against them. Why are they treated as a separate case? Look what we did. Look what they've done. But you're right. But I think the best answer would be for them to be relegated automatically. Now,
but you only get relegated to the Championship. You can't get relegated. It's not the same as in Scotland with what happened with Rangers, right?
Because no. I understand. Yeah. So that is fine by me, because I think that if that is an acceptable outcome for everybody. But then the problem then becomes Arsenal will say we won the title. You're going to have Arsenal fans saying we won the title then. You know, in those years.
You can't do that. And the reason why you shouldn't do that is A, because as I said, the kind of the butterfly effect is obscene. But on top of that, if the teams that finish second just get moved up, or the teams that finish runners up in the cups that City won get become champions. But what's the better outcome is if they're stripped of their titles, and then those years are left with a big scratch through Manchester City's name on the trophy. So that in 25 years' time, some child who wasn't alive to know what happened asks their father, who won the league in 2017 or whatever? And then they go, nobody. Why? Oh, because the team that actually won, they cheated despite having all of the resources in the world. Same with Chelsea, by the way, if their guilt is proven. You need to have that indelible mark on the archives of history so that nobody forgets that the teams with the most resources also cheated to leverage themselves more positive outcomes.
I still think though, Sean, it's not enough, mate. It's not enough. I mean, Juventus relegated, Rangers relegated. You know, I know they're a big club, but you know there has to be a deterrent. And if they get let off, the deterrent is gone forever. Forever.
Do you think though? I guess my question is, do you think that the independent adjudicators are going to be independent enough, but also have to consider that if they say that you're guilty of 75% of the charges, right? 80 of the 115 charges, if you're guilty, that relegation is one thing, a transfer ban, a retrospective points deduction for those seasons, then you give no one wins the title in an ideal solution, so that it's just left as the indelible mark on their brand and their reputation. But the potential new litigation that would come from certain teams that went down, that would go, well, I wouldn't have gone down had it not been for you cheating, because had you not cheated, you wouldn't have signed him. He would have gone somewhere else, and then we wouldn't have had to have sold our play. All that ridiculous.
Oh, it's more than Europe, you know, getting in the Champions League and the 100 million or 80 million.
All of that stuff, right? But there's never ending. Like the cost of
But
going
they
down,
won it on
Johnny,
the
is just as
pitch.
bad as the cost of not being in the Champions League, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, they won it on the pitch. So for football endeavours and for coaching endeavours, they deserved it because they were the better football team. But the financial endeavours has given them an advantage. I mean, let's be serious. You can spend hundreds of millions of pounds and not win anything. Let's be serious, you know.
Arsenal.
Man United spent
Arsenal.
fortunes. Arsenal, yeah. So, you know, but look, it's one that's going to run and run and run. And I think we've all had enough of it now and we need closure on it. And we've also will be closing in on how Chelsea and Aston Villa get on with the UEFA charges that we will find out about in January, I believe. Will they be slapped with another huge fine, even bigger than the last one? And will Aston Villa, or will they get away with it? We shall find out very, very soon. Just a couple of things to mention, moving away from that quickly. Sweden, unbelievable. We talk about incredible results. We spoke about the other day about Faroe Islands, incredibly beaten Czech Republic, their biggest win ever. And then we see Sweden, bottom. Who'd have thought with that team and that squad sitting bottom of the World Cup qualifiers? Incredible. Lost at home again. And I'm not sure if it's right. They're sat bottom, but someone told me because of the what's the league called? The other league, the other cup league, Nations League.
Yeah.
Because of the Nations League, they will get a chance in the playoffs. I'm not sure if that's true. If someone could let me know. But Sweden, despite finishing bottom, will get a playoff chance because of their performance in the Nations League. And the other one is incredible. Is Cape Verde? Marshall's actually just come up here. Cape Verde have now qualified for the World Cup. Incredible. I think they beat the Cameroons.
Have they?
Yeah. That will be the first time they've ever made the World Cup. Incredible story when you look at the group and the teams are in there. So the romance of these qualifiers does still exist. And of course, the extra teams that are going to the World Cup does allow this to happen where maybe it wouldn't happen before. Population 500,000. Incredible. Yeah, there was the Cameroons. Yeah. Incredible story. I'm sure they'll be celebrating in Cape Verde for a long time for that result, and I'm sure we'll be listening to lots of documentaries in the run up to the World Cup. Wales got beaten again, but still have a chance of qualifying. Not very good. Scotland have still got it all in their own hands, and England, well, they're going to qualify. I saw something today that said only a win in the World Cup, only winning the World Cup will mean that Thomas Tuchel has had a good tendership at England. Do we not think it's a bit far-fetched in America with that heat? Does not the heat favour the South American teams? Brazil, Argentina, the like?
Just quickly. Is this because of this new expanded format? Because you currently have in the CAF World Cup qualifiers table.
Yeah.
You've currently got. Is it? So what happens here? So Benin are also going to qualify. Is that what we're saying here? If they win that league, are Benin going to qualify?
I'm not sure. Well, Cape Verde. Look, they're ahead of the Macaroons.
Yeah, so
I mean, they've got Algeria and Cameroon there. Let's be serious. Like, Cameroon have been a World Cup's, staple.
No, but I just want to understand, is this because of the expanded tournament? That
yes.
Everybody that finishes first qualifies, right? And then everyone that finishes second goes into the playoff. So at the moment, Madagascar is in the qualification process.
Yeah, so Mali are not doing very well. Ghana have qualified already.
So Gabon, I don't know who that is. Gabon are currently second place rankings. So they're whoever it is that finishes top of the second place rankings are going to be in some other qualifier with some other countries from some other.
Obviously, yeah. So Ivory Coast look like Ivory Coast are tight there, but Cape Verde. Listen, the Cameroons would have been favourites for that. And then if you look at Group C, when you look at the squad of Nigeria, I mean,
I hear you. But so what we say? So if Benin beat whoever they've got to play this week, let's assume that they're obviously playing either South Africa, Nigeria, or Rwanda. If they win that, then they'll go to 20 points, which will mean that they also qualify. So Benin will likely be in the World Cup as well. This is the problem, mate. I'm all for it in terms of celebrating their success, but like we're expanding the tournament to the point where San Marino level teams are going to be in the tournament. I don't know, mate. Like to me, I'm all for like the like it's fun.
The biggest expansion. This World Cup will be the first massive expansion after the last expansion, and now they're talking about
another expansion to 64 teams. So you're gonna have every team. Like you might as well just not. Everyone just might as well be there. Like what's the point of the qualifiers? It's a money grab, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah. It's Infantino. Talking of which, can you explain to me why Infantino, who makes Sepp Blatter and Platini look like the Pope, right? What was he doing at the Gaza summit? I mean, there's all these.
Mate. I told you. Like Donald Trump was. Donald Trump thought he was going to get the Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't get it. So someone said, "Well, we'll give you the Ballon d'Or next time round." Okay.
Yeah, the Ballon d'Or. He's the surprise. He's
the Ballon de Trump. They're going to rename it the Ballon de Trump, Johnny.
Yeah, Harry Kane thought he was going to win it, but the surprise winner this year. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I've been tremendous in football. The best football guy you've ever seen.
I think he's still got the World Club Cup in his office.
Yeah. Imagine that. Actually, when you put it together, maybe he's making a run to be the president of something else in a couple of years' time. When his current tenure, he must be the next president of football.
President of FIFA. Huh? I haven't got time for this governing Gaza business.
This politics is terrible. Let's get me in, FIFA.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do some super chats, Shorty.
Yeah, do some super chats. Dino, Super Houdini, where is he? The train has commenced indeed. Thank you very much, Dino. Always here, always supporting, mate. Very much appreciate you, buddy. Very much appreciate you indeed. Mashina Joe is saying, I love the IDF. What's IDF? IDF. IDF. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You can
appreciate you, Joe. Appreciate you, mate. Thank you very much, buddy. Politics.
Albania beating Serbia was brilliant. How dare you not mention it? Well, I should have mentioned it. Otherwise, I'll have a knock on the door for some Albanians down by the pool.
That must be a massive. Like Am I wrong in thinking the politics between those countries is quite different, quite interesting?
Well, can you imagine? Not being funny, but I don't think I'd like to be a fan in that game. Could you?
I'm sure there's must have been some trouble
at that game. Yeah. Was Serbia not beaten earlier in the week? Mash and Joe, let us know. But I think Serbia lost one of their other games at home the other week or the other day. So let us know on that one.
Yeah, Albania Serbia must have been a feisty fan affair. Thank you very much, Joe. I hope you're okay, my man. Where are you right now? Are you over in Thailand, still in Pattaya, or are you? Let's come on, guys. We didn't know about. Let's stop this stuff. I'm not going to bring it up. Oh, Jesus, can't get rid of it. Let's get rid of the politics out of football, shall we?
Kalispera, Johnny.
What does that mean?
I think maybe that's where it was. Kalispera.
Okay.
How you doing, Graham?
Sorry, guys. Let's leave the politics out of this. We're not interested in the politics here.
Yeah.
Jonny, let's participate in a new segment, which I've been trying to get. This is my first attempt. So listen, it's not great, but it will do.
The rumor mill, it's time we went there to speculate, gesticulate on who will go where.
Rumour mills, Jonny, rumour mills, they are going to mill. What are we saying, mate? What's the first story you've got for me today?
AC Milan see Liverpool defender Joe Gomez as a dream target for the January transfer window, but Arne Slot's plans for the Englishman could make a deal almost impossible to pull off. But the move back to Arsenal. Arsenal are ready to advance their serious interest in Juventus winger Kenan Yildiz, and they're proposing a swap deal of 43 million plus Gabriel Jesus.
I mean, how long's Jesus out for?
I don't know. People are still waiting for Jesus to come back.
He'll rise again on Monday Night Football.
It's coming up. I think he'll be back in April, around Easter.
He'll be back in April and just coming for Monday Night Football. Good Monday.
Yeah. And he'll be injured again. Yeah.
He'll smash it top bins.
He'll smash them crosses. Also, Arsenal, Manchester City and Real Madrid are among the clubs interested in signing 22-year-old German defender Nathaniel Brown, someone we've spoken about, the Eintracht Frankfurt centre.
What a player he is, by the way.
Yeah, what a
player he is. He's a left back, can play as a left winger and an attacking midfielder. Let me just show you some of this guy's stats. Right, Nathaniel Brown, German geezer, youngster.
Fantastic.
Frankfurt do it again, mate. Frankfurt have done it again. This guy, bring it in here. This is versus fullbacks. Okay, this is versus fullbacks. 3.37 tackles per game, successful tackles per game. Best in the German, best in the top 5, or one of the best in the top 5 leagues. Oh, hang on, I haven't got the rest of the stats up here. This guy is an unbelievable player.
Ridiculous.
Look at the output of this guy. Unbelievable. His shooting stats. This is versus fullbacks, right? The versus fullbacks. Shots on target, 44%, 91st percentile. So you think, oh, okay, so he's an attacking fullback. You know, but he doesn't play in a back 5, Jonny. He plays in the back 4. So he's a left back with players in front of him. I think he's got Knauf in front of him. Look at those defensive stats. This guy is 22 years old. Unbelievable player. For me, I think he's such a talent. And if you compare him to wingers, where he often plays as well, he's still got better stats, better output stats than most wingers as a left back. And then look at his passing stats.
What sort of money? What sort of money do you think we're talking about for this guy?
He's 22 years old, mate. I don't know, like big money, big money. I'd say, I don't know, 50 million, 60 million, something like that. He's a brilliant player.
Just for an update on the Jesus story, apparently, according to Uphill Gardner, Jesus scored from a cross against Liverpool on Easter Sunday, 2023. That's the cross that Liverpool are going to have to bear. But that was, well, thanks for that one. I love the chat. Always give us some info and updates of things that we might have missed. But no, Nathaniel Brown, those that know. A lot of people don't know who he is, but if you sort of watch European
football, cracking fullback. But he plays behind that Knauf guy. And this is the thing, right? So I've been having this debate a lot. I think we had a lot of it last night, Jonny, on the Spurs 5. Although I feel bad because whenever I get into a debate about Odebear, I feel like it becomes a one versus me versus the world. And I should have let you chime in earlier. So I apologise in public for taking over that side of the debate because I know you have my back on it. But when you look at someone like Knauf, I'm not sure it's Knauf or Nauf or how you say his name, but Knauf, he is someone who connects with Nathaniel Brown, right? He's someone that brings Brown into the game. And I don't want to get into the Odebear debate right now, but like I think that this notion that if you're not someone that's like Kudus, therefore you're not good enough, I think people massively underestimate the relationships that happen. That are, it's not an individual sport; it's a team game. Udogie, I heard Dave Irish Hotspur earlier. I love Dave pieces. He was saying that that Udogie makes Odegaard look better. I'm like, I think you got it the wrong way around. I think that Udogie looks better because he has a guy in front of him who's happy to play that role. Odegaard is almost like a 10 that's shoehorned out to the left with his ability to create chemistry. And my point being that Nathaniel Brown is a very similar sort of player. Very similar. He needs someone in front of him that's going to maneuver, mechanize, engineer opportunities for his talents to flourish and thrive. And Nathaniel Brown is better with the output than Udogie is, better at crossing, better at...
Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
That stuff done, right?
Where do we see him?
It doesn't work, Johnny, if you have a person in front of him who is selfish. And I'm not saying that Kudus is a bad player because he's selfish. I'm just saying that you have to create relationships, let people play to their strengths, and relationships and chemistry are everything in football. And so people that are like harsh on players in front that might maybe allow the players behind to do more, that shouldn't be necessarily thought of as a weakness. It should be seen as a strength, in my opinion.
So, I mean, if he was to go to Man City, do Man City have the players that they wouldn't need him? Is this something? I mean, for me, I think the biggest need for them is someone to succeed Rodri. I mean, if they went all out and bought Walton, pardon?
So you're saying if Udogie went to City, is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm saying like Udogie to City. If City bought Udogie and Adam Walton, I think that would suit them more so than maybe Nathaniel Brown. When
you think about like Doku,
do you think he's more Real Madrid than he is Arsenal? Because I can't see where he's fitting in at Arsenal.
Who are you talking about?
Nathaniel Brown.
I think he can play anywhere, mate. His defensive stats are as good as anybody else's.
Yeah,
right? His defensive stats are better than most. But when he's afforded the opportunity to get forward in the Frankfurt team, within the context of Frankfurt, like he's a very talented player. He's 22 years old, loads of time on his side. But this, like when you look at Manchester City specifically, who plays on the left for City currently? It's Doku, right? When you think of Doku, when Doku gets the ball, do you see Doku more as a player who is entirely one-dimensional in that he gets the ball and wants to kind of counter and just take players on, all that stuff? Or do you think that Doku's got space in his game to connect other players? And if you do, then you can make room for a left back. But you don't really see Guardiola if he's being shoehorned out to the left back. You know what you're getting from Guardiola, but Guardiola, like you know what I mean? Like there's like relationships. Doku knows when he gets the ball, he's got the room and the space because you don't have that need for him to get forward. Whereas Destiny Udogie to spread his wings, Destiny Udogie better with the ball or better running into space, right? So in terms of Nathaniel Brown, I think Nathaniel Brown could do it. He could do it at City. Is there a link to City? Is there?
Well, no, there is. But I mean, they've got El Nouri and they got Nico Riley. Okay, and I just don't see, down that left hand side they've got Omar Mamouche and Jeremy Doku, and then on the left hand side you've got Kovacic and Reinders, and then you've got El Nouri and O'Reilly. That's the sort of left-hand spine there. I can't see where he would fit in. For me, if Rodri's out, you've got Nico Gonzalez to sit in that holding role, and I don't think it's enough. I think for Manchester City, this isn't Nathaniel's not the type of guy that they need. What they need is an Adam Walton to go and smash it and pay the big money for him. He's the guy.
They need someone that can fill the boots of Rodri when Rodri's 100%. Either injured or leaving. And there's a lot of rumours that Rodri will leave at the end of the season, right?
Yeah, 100%.
They brought in Calvin Phillips years ago, and that turned out to be an absolute shit show.
For me, it's the right-hand side that Man City are struggling with, with Mateus Nunes, who I don't think is a right back. He was a midfielder for Wolves. And Rico Lewis. I think their right side is their weak side, personally, in defence. Yeah. But listen, we shall see. But, top top player out in Germany. And as we keep saying, they keep on producing these players, and we will see. Chelsea are the ones, though, Sean, that are really pushing for Adam Walton. Can we see them potentially selling Enzo to Real Madrid and then replacing him with Adam Walton? I can see that happening potentially.
Well, funnily enough, like you look at Chelsea's back, that double pivot, and over the last few days, there's been never-ending links for both Caicedo and Enzo. This morning, the BBC have reported that it's actually Caicedo has opted to be advised by his family without the oversight of an agent, and that there is no ill will between him and his former representatives. His former representative, Barat, told The Telegraph that Caicedo was happy. No, he's happy.
Yes, he's number one footballer in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it is. We got a couple of gods. He's happy at Chelsea, but Caicedo and Enzo both linked with Real Madrid. This story won't go away, mate. It's like every single day, the defensive midfield pivot or the midfield pivot at Chelsea is linked with Real Madrid. Real Madrid clearly looking for somebody. Let me extend this. I'll let you answer that particular question, but I want to extend this. There's also increased rumours that Jude Bellingham might be leaving Real Madrid. What's your thoughts there?
I don't know what's going on there, but it's the ego has landed. You've seen the clips of him shouting at players, not shaking their hands. Come on, man. I mean, your dad's a policeman. You've been disciplined throughout your life. Be humble, man. I mean, you've arrived there. Don't piss away your career. We've seen it so many times before. You've arrived there, you delivered. But I think being around Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and the likes, Bellingham seems to have developed a bit of an arse attitude. Rumoured, okay? But some of his behaviour on the pitch has been highlighted in a few clips, videos that I've seen. I can't see him wanting to leave Real Madrid. Anywhere after Real Madrid is downhill, to be honest. But we shall see. But I reckon Chelsea, Man City will go after Walton. And I think Real Madrid will try to go after one of either Caicedo or Enzo. Will be interesting to see. And Chelsea are also after former Manchester City player who I thought was going to stay at Manchester City, is Eric Garcia, defender, really good player, having a good season. And one of our old favourites, Sean, who is definitely leaving Lyon. Will someone make a huge bid for him in January? Malik Fofana. We've spoken about him many times since we started the show 3.5 months ago. Will a club try to make a move now to throw people off? Because a lot of clubs will be waiting for the summer. Do you think someone will nip in and pay over the odds to get him in January?
Do I think there'll be some overpaying in January for who? Sorry,
Malik Fofana.
I don't know what overpaying would be for him, mate. I mean, he's a top player.
Yeah, but the thing is, like
with Lyon's problems,
linked with lots of players, lots of clubs for next summer. And my point is, will a club try to circumvent all the other clubs and make a bid over the odds in January?
But will it be? Does it need to be over the odds, mate? Have you know what's going on with John Textor? With John Textor, yeah. Have you seen today's announcement? Kieran Maguire put out a tweet. So again, Eagle Holdings have failed to. So the whole thing that came out with them getting their forbearance,
haven't made their payments. They haven't made their payments.
No. So they failed to get back to that. They failed to put their reports through the Company's House for the lot from 2021 and 2022, which was the basis of that argument with Arias Capital giving them forbearance on their debt, but it was a payment in kind relationship, right? So basically, you haven't got to pay if you don't want to, but we'll keep the juice running, mafia style. And at circa $80 million of interest per year on what they owe, 450 million quid at 20, 25%, etc. so they gave them forbearance. But I said this in a video previously on Sean Butler TV. I said that they're going to end up with, like, Arias Capital will end up owning Lyon.
Yeah.
But today, they have still failed to announce or failed to deliver their accounts for the 2024-25 season. They still haven't done it. So again, another failed set of accounts have been delivered. Like, it's illegal. What John Textor is doing is illegal. If I didn't put in my accounts, right, October the 31st is the end of my business year.
Yeah.
If I don't have my accounts put in within 9 months of that, I get a fine. And if it happens again and again and again, that's a criminal prosecution.
Yeah.
It's a criminal prosecution. John Textor's given, I don't know why, but he's given some sort of leeway to just get it done later. Long story short, back to Malik Fofana. But he is in so much fucking trouble, Johnny, with his finances. This guy is up to his eyeballs in debt. He is robbing Peter to pay Paul.
With the interest rates.
He did it with Botafogo. He took money out of Lyon to give money to Botafogo. He sold his stake in Crystal Palace, and 90% of the money that he got from the sale, the 190 million quid, went to Arias Capital. It didn't go to him. It went to pay off the debt, pay off some of the debt. Most of it was just interest.
Correct.
So when you talk about Malik Fofana, when you're saying, will he leave? Yes, he will leave. But will it be for an overpayment? I don't know. That depends on the market. But I would suggest that if you're someone like Daniel Levy would have done, Daniel Levy would be aware of this. Daniel Levy would go to John Textor and say, I'll give you an underpayment to get you out of trouble. But there might be a bidding war because the player is that good.
So what I'm saying here is most people think that Lyon have stated they won't be selling him till next summer. But if you want to make a statement, what I'm saying is, will a club come in and say, we ain't waiting till next summer. Let's go in, smash it, and make a big bid. It might draw others out the woodwork. So, for example, Spurs went in and made a bid, and they bid 60 million for Malik Fofana, for example. That might force other clubs to suddenly change their plans and also bid. A bit similar to how Spurs tried to buy Luis Diaz. Liverpool weren't planning on buying him till next summer, and then they nipped in and did the deal ahead of us.
Well, John, let me ask you, if you're someone right now, how many teams just in the Premier League need a left winger?
Loads.
Quite a lot of them. Yeah. Right? Loads of them need a left winger. How many? I always say that the left winger is the most oversaturated position in world football because most top talented players that are good, tricky, technical players, whatever, they're right-footed. Therefore, in the inverted version of the game, most of them sit on the left-hand side. And who are those players? At the moment, you've got Semenyo, who's just signed a new contract. Everybody would bite your hand off for Semenyo. But how much is that going to cost? 100 million quid. After him, you have Kenan Yildiz, right? Yildiz at Juve. He's a Juve. He's Turkish, but he loves Juve. He loves Alessandro Del Piero. He doesn't want to leave, but Juve have got their financial problems. How much is that going to cost? Maybe 70 million quid, 80 million quid, because he's also an unbelievable player. After that, you have Ademola Lookman. And we know that there's problems there and that Atalanta were trying to sell him towards the end of the summer. But they've subsequently buried the hatchet and he's back playing for them and he's still kicking goals, right? Still doing well. An unbelievable output merchant, but maybe a bit of a donut. Don't know. After that, that's the top three, in my opinion. After that, you have Malik Fofana. But Malik Fofana is a very young guy. So if everyone's fishing in the young pool pond, maybe Malik Fofana. Who else is there that's of that level? Not that many. Antonio Nusa, maybe. There's a few, but there's not that many that are really top draw. And so, Johnny, to me, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that Malik Fofana will be leaving in January.
They're saying next year, but I think a team's going to come out. One player that was he was the next Brazilian Neymar, and it hasn't worked out for him. Endrick. Real Madrid paid a lot of money for him, but as I've said here, Estavo at Chelsea, I believe, is going to be the best of all of them. And Endrick, apparently Juventus could be an option for Real Madrid for Endrick to go in January. He's not getting any minutes. He's only a teenager still, but to save his hopes of making the Brazil World Cup squad, he's played no minutes, zero. under Xavi Alonso. And when you consider the lengths that Real Madrid went to get Endrick, just shows you when a new guy comes in, you could be toast. So that would be an interesting one. I did see a historical link between Endrick and West Ham. That should really get you back on track. But Juventus couldn't get Kolo Muani, tried to get rid of Vlahovic, but they are trying to offer Kenan Yildiz a new increased annual salary of how much do you think, Sean? They think that this deal is going to really do
how
it.
How much
for
are you currently getting?
Well, they're going to raise his salary to €6 million a year, which works out 110,000 euros a week. Do they honestly think that is not going to make him sign a contract?
There's something about him. I've read so many different places that he is just like infatuated with Juve.
Yeah, but I understand.
I hear you. I totally hear you. And eventually Juve might just say, if they get 70 million offered or something, they might just say, listen, love you, man, but we need the money. But like he's like he's a schoolboy, with like being offered the chance to date into whoever the hottest 25-year-old.
He's 21 and everyone wants him. Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United. They're all
I heard he got down on his fucking knees and did this to Alessandro Del Piero a couple of days ago in front of the cameras, like on a pre-match. Like he's I don't know, mate. Listen, I've got no idea. But listen, yeah, you're right. Just principally, you're right. 110 grand, 120 grand a week. He'll earn a lot more than that if he goes somewhere else, right? 100%. But
it's another story.
He might be one of those kids that's just loyal. He might be someone that just wants to stay at Juve.
Here's a story for you Man United fans, because we have a Man United agenda here, very strong United agenda on this show. Manchester United wonder kid JJ Gabriel is a target for Real Madrid. The kid, nicknamed Kid Messi, has already scored 7 goals and provided 1 assist in his first 6 matches of the season for Man United under-18s. His form and potential has sparked interest from elite clubs around Europe, with also Arsenal keeping tabs on the situation, because I don't know if you know, Man United nicked a couple of players from Arsenal's academy that they were trying to promise game time, which they couldn't, and they've left to go to United, and they're looking to do the same. It says here,
how old is he?
He's under 18, so I'm not sure. Anyone tell me how old JJ Gabriel is? Matthias Cunha on his impact.
Stay there 1 second, mate. 1 second. Sorry, stay there 1 second.
No worries. Matthias Cunha on his impact at Man United. It's only been 2 months. For me, it's been disappointing. He's one of my favourite players last season for Wolves. It's only been 2 months, but it feels like I've been here for a long time because of the club's current situation. I have to get results as quickly as possible because I'm a big signing. Being here now at Man United and in the national team is without doubt a different level, a different moment as a player. I think because I play for Manchester United, people watch me more on the field. They understand now how I play better. Well, you're not playing better, Matthias Cunha. You're actually a shadow of your self that was performing for Wolves. If you watched him last season, I think you can agree he was Wolves' standout player. And Manchester United didn't ooh and ah about paying the 63 million for him like they did with Brian Mbeumo. That one went on for a long, long time. Man United are still in talks with Harry Maguire to try and tie him down to a new contract, although he has a huge contract offer from Saudi Arabia. I can't see him going there personally. Likes to drink. I don't know why you still drink in Saudi Arabia, I think, in the confines of your own home. But Ruben Amorim has urged Manchester United officials to beat Liverpool and Manchester City and every other club for Adam Walton. Good luck with that one, because I can't see Steve Parish allowing anyone to take Adam Walton out of the club. A lot of posturing, a lot of talking, but I can't see that one happening. The other one is that Manchester United and Crystal Palace are both monitoring Borussia Dortmund's 20-year-old Jude Bellingham's brother, Joe Bellingham's performances at Borussia Dortmund. He's having a good season, Sean. Job.
Is he?
Well, they're doing
Joe
quite well.
Bellingham, I'm not sure. I think there's lots of rumours saying that he wants to leave. He's not. His parents stepping into the changing room. There's
Oh no,
lots
that was a while back. They've been banned. They've been banned from the changing room. They've been
yeah, I mean, there's lots of suggestions that he might leave.
Yeah, there have been, but we shall see on that one. And Manchester United are also monitoring Bayern Munich's midfielder Alexander Pavlovic, who's in and out with there's a lot of competition in that midfield. But Walton is going to go for 100 million plus, I would say. I can't see him going for less. I really can't.
Do you think he's going to leave?
I was just saying, Steve Parish, get him out. If he goes,
what's the number where you pick up the phone to Parish today and you say January the 1st?
He'll want the same as Florian Wirtz, probably, knowing him.
But you say, you got one. I'm going to give you one number. I'm going to email you with one number. It's a yes or no. I need to know from you by the end of the day. I'm giving you 6 weeks or whatever it is to find your replacement. One number, yes or no, and that's it. I'm walking away. What's that number?
It'd probably be 110 million with sort of 40 up front and the rest paid over the term.
And who's got that?
Very few. JJ Gabriel is 15.
Oh, well done, mate. Well done for going and doing that research.
That's why. That's
so
why
we're talking about 15-year-olds leaving United, are we?
Well, we're talking about 15-year-olds who they nicknamed Kid Messi, who can't stop scoring goals for the under-18s.
How many goals did you say he scored? 7 goals in the under-18s.
7 goals in 7 matches and 1 assist.
How many has Luca Williams-Barnett scored in the under 21s? And how old is he?
He's 17.
17, and he's done what this season? Done the 21s?
Listen, Max Dowman is a level above them all. Max Dowman is just insane. Luca Williams-Barnett will probably be
I'd like to see more of Luca Williams-Barnett though in a Tottenham shirt, mate. Like when he came on in that 4 minutes he got or whatever, there was nothing about him that looked anything other than entirely comfortable. He didn't look like he was 16 years old at the time. He didn't look like he was intimidated. He looked like he was like reveling in the moment, and he took a couple of players on. As a Tottenham fan, when you give someone a chance and everything about it looks comfortable, not so much about what do they do, it's whether they look like they're scared or intimidated. I thought it looked good.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the chat. For those who are listening on audio, someone's put stop searching for 15-year-olds on the internet. That's in reference to JJ Kid Messi, the Man United player. Paris Saint-Germain manager Luis Enrique continues to push for a couple of players, and one of them is a move for Barcelona midfielder Gavi, even though he's got a new long-term injury. That one makes sense. The other player that he's been after, that he really would like to have, is Roma's 24-year-old French international Mano Kone, who's doing very well for your club, Roma, right now. Very good player. Very good player. And one for Spurs. This one seems to have reared its head again. And that's Samu Akahawa, the Porto striker. Do you think there's any legs in that one? It's come up couple of times in the last 2 or 3 days.
I definitely think he's hot property, mate. He's doing well in the Portuguese league. He's strong. He's physically fit. He's fast and he's banging in the goals. But I'll say it. Excuse me. He is. He's still. I don't know, mate. Like. My question mark is always about the Portuguese transition, mate. Like Guacaré's banged in 100 goals in 100 games in Portugal. He scored 2 goals in 10 for Arsenal. One of them was a penalty. And this guy Samu, it hasn't got the same ratios of what Gyökeres does. I know Gyökeres is a couple of years older, but like he's nothing like an £85 million player like his release clause suggests. If it was like a 35 million quid deal or something, you might take a punt. But I don't necessarily think he's proven him. He might end up being the guy, but right now, like you've got to look at comparables, and you have to consider the fact that Gyökeres has taken his time. So,
well, if you look at Gyökeres, I mean, let's look at the stats from last night. Interesting. Gyökeres versus Kosovo, who they lost to at home. No goals, no assists, no key passes, no dribbles, no aerial duels, 12 possessions lost. Quality performance.
yeah, that's I guess against Kosovo, right? So I don't know, mate. Like I don't know what the solution is. I think you have to consider that these things don't necessarily translate. I'm not saying Gyökeres won't be a good player for Arsenal, but I'm also definitely not on board. If Tottenham were to try and get Agahawa, I'd be excited because I think we need to improve. But if I'm honest, if you're looking at Agahawa at 50 million quid or something like that, or you can go and get a Dusan Vlahovic for 15 million.
Yeah.
If that's the options, I'd take Vlahovic, probably.
Yeah. I would maybe take him. I would make him take him. Maybe take him. I'd like to see someone more mobile. I need to see how Kolo Muani comes into the setup. John George in the chat. John, we were talking about this player yesterday in the chat. Tottenham sent scouts to watch 17-year-old Nantes centre-back Talel Tati, TT, to his mates. You like a bit of TT, don't you, Sean?
Don't mind it.
Don't mind it.
That's my Friday night activity. Not 17-year-olds, though.
No. But no, I think, look, right now, we're filling the void. The big games are coming back on the weekend. We'll be discussing our predictions, having a look at the fantasy football table. I'm not around tomorrow because I'm flying back tomorrow, but be back on Thursday. If you are in the chat and you haven't hit the like button, guys, please hit the like.
I might not be around on Thursday, Johnny, just so you know, mate. Don't expect that I'm always around.
Oh, okay.
You know? No, Johnny only assumes that I'm around every day because I haven't got the holiday.
No. I might be able to do tomorrow. I might be able to do tomorrow before I fly home, actually. So I'm hoping I can still do something. Guys, if you're in the chat and you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. And to all you guys that watch every day or every week and don't hit the subscribe button, guys, hit the subscribe button. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you any money, but it helps us grow our channel, which is what we're trying to do. So we can bring you more content and Sean can bring you more jingles. Yeah,
there you go, guys. We'll leave it there then. We'll see you, if not tomorrow, then probably Wednesday. Sorry,
done all the super chats, Sean?
I think we're not. Oh, no, sorry. Toby Juan Kenobi, big up to you, Toby. Big up, fellas. Good to see you both. Good to see you, Toby. Hope you're okay, my man. I love that name as well. Very, very clever. Appreciate you all, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Please get over to Spurs 5. Smash a sub over there where you can find Johnny and I on Mondays and Thursdays. Please get over to Sean Butler TV. Get over to Spurs Talk Show. And if you're interested in conspiracies as well, you can get over to Rabbit Hole Ramblings. All the links in the description. And I will see you on the next one. Johnny, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from him.
See you guys.